Powerful galactic beings, welcome back to another video. Based on what we know about reality, the word paranormal covers everything that is out of the ordinary. Many college graduates have to pay off their student loans well into their 20s and 30s. This is a sad fact that seems to be built into our society. Most people who work in this field aren't happy with what they do. The beginning of illness, emotional pain, the birth of children, and the start of the cycle all happen over and over again. We usually measure ourselves against the supernatural, but the human norm is just an illusion. You can't get out of the matrix if you think you're not a part of it. It seems like people have been stuck in a bubble for a long time, waiting for the bubble to burst so they can talk to each other and maybe even communicate with aliens. It looks like the system has taken steps to make sure that everyone is taught the same basic pattern from the time they are born. There are certain truths about reality and the universe that can't be questioned or changed. Number 1. Blind following of scientific theories. Science that looks at problems with an open mind should be supported, and it shouldn't be criticized because that limits the field and slows its progress. The goal of scientific inquiry is to find explanations for things that didn't make sense before and to explain things that were thought to be impossible. People who make fun of ideas like alien life, spiritual experiences, and other similar things live in a small world and limit their own abilities. This is the ideal matrix society, where no one thinks outside the box. Number 2. Dependence on pharmaceutical industries to seek health. If you depend on the pharma industry, you are putting your mental health at risk. When the matrix takes direct control of your brain, which is similar to what happened with the doctor, this is the most obvious case of mind control. Even though emotions aren't physical things but rather the result of complex chemical interactions in the brain, they are a big part of who we are and how we become who we are. When we knowingly take drugs that change the way our bodies and brains work chemically, we give another person the power to control our thoughts. This is one of the most dangerous weapons the Matrix has, especially when you think about how much most of these drugs make people dependent on them. Number 3. Prioritizing small things over the area of major importance. However, I'm curious if you took the time to learn about things like the sacrifices made to protect the Amazon or the ongoing protests against poverty and a low quality of life that are happening just feet from the stadiums. If you were more worried about football than about global environmental and humanitarian problems, the Matrix has taken away your sense of self-preservation and empathy and made you more likely to be interested in trivia and escape. Number 4. Accepting all the stuff of your history books. Often, the past is changed. Look into the histories of two countries that have been at war with each other to see if this is true. Not to mention that different political parties have different levels of success when it comes to using history in the right way. We don't have a lot of information about the past, and we don't have easy access to what we do have. This makes it easier to form wrong ideas. Even though this isn't as bad as changing the way history went, it's still a problem. Number 5. Accepting every action that government imposes. If the leaders looking into your private life doesn't bother you, then you have no problem with it. By letting this happen, you are admitting that you have a master and that you must obey this master by giving up your sovereignty. It doesn't matter if you have something to hide or not, because that's not what this is about. Behind-the-scenes racketeering is making it hard for you to act in certain ways. A very small number of respondents also think about the possibility that they might have a conflict of interest. What is it trying to hide, exactly? If this isn't true, what's the point of keeping millions of secret files and data? When we let people know who we are and how we got here, we give them a new way to attack the Matrix. Number 6. You don't have any problems with drinking fluoridated water. Most people don't seem to care that they has polluted the water, even though this is something that most people in the modern world know and agree is a problem. This move is based on the idea that fluoride in water improves dental health. Even if this were true, though, shouldn't people have the right to choose whether or not to go through with this treatment? This is okay because fluoride in water is thought to make teeth healthier. Doesn't this amount to a kind of slavery, since they doesn't ask anyone if they want this so-called medication? If you back what looks like slavery, you're doing the same thing as if you back the Matrix. Number 7. Fearing about change and moving like herd. You may have been able to convince yourself that the way things are in your life right now is fine. But true happiness and contentment are nowhere to be found inside. You have a job that pays well, but it's not the fulfilling life you hoped to have when you were younger. You've set up a base of operations, made a home for yourself, and, in a way, accepted the hand you've been dealt. But even if you like your job, you might feel like you're working for a bigger cause. No matter what you're going through or how you're feeling, there's always a better way to do something. You can change your future by changing how you act, how you feel, and what you tell yourself. To live a rich life, you don't have to follow the rules of the Twilight Zone or act like the characters in The Walking Dead. Les Brown's book, You Have Greatness Within You, says that we were all made for something bigger. Number 8. Trying to impress other people. You're not really in charge of your life if you buy expensive things like luxury cars, designer clothes, and other things to make other people think you're cool or think you're smart. This includes wanting to make other people happy. You decide what to buy based on what other people have told you. If you really care about these things and need them for your own happiness, then you can have them. Even though this is the same as the last one, it is better than what you buy. There are a lot of people who only make decisions based on what other people think. The biggest paradox is that the harder you try to make people like you, the less they do. Even though you tried hard, this happened. Number 9. Unable to take decisions. When I was growing up, people thought that being a doctor was the best job and the most honorable path for young people to take. I often wonder how many of these people really want to go into the medical field and how many of them were influenced by their parents when they were younger but now know that they made their own decisions. This is just one of the many times in life when people don't have the freedom to choose for themselves. Choose something that you're interested in. Number 10. Discussing the fiction characters after watching the TV shows. The device in the far corner of the room that constantly tells us what we should be thinking and doing through mind control, programming, and subliminal messages is the strongest argument for using mass hypnosis. It encourages sexual behavior, aggressive acts, and the dangerously naive idea that everything in the news must be true. At first glance, the problem seems small, like something as simple as going to a movie. It does, however, mean that something doesn't have to be real or happen in the real world for it to make people feel real emotions. This is without a doubt a win for the Matrix. Number 11. Believing on the financial systems without raising questions. There is always a major party on the right and a major party on the left, and they never seem to agree with each other. The smaller parties are smaller groups that mostly agree on the same ideas. All of the countries in the world can learn from this observation. The Matrix has made it so that people have to choose between two big political groups. When you and your friend argue about who is the best master, you are each basically following a different Matrix rule. This is an early version of the strategy of divide and conquer. I hope this video was really helpful to you. See you in the next video. Peace, love, and life.